You know what's funny about horror movies? Everyone who watches them always likes to say, not me though, that monster totally would have never killed me. I'm built different. Well, after analyzing thousands of horror movies, I found 6 horror movie monsters that have a 100% chance of wrecking you. That's right, being built different isn't gonna save you. And the worst one, it's not even what you're thinking. But if you really think you're built different, like this video and subscribe to the channel. And then comment down below how you would actually beat these monsters in a fight. Let's start with killer clowns from outer space, because apparently some of you think you can survive alien clowns with cotton candy ray guns. First off, these aren't your average birthday party rejects who can't even make a balloon animal. These are highly advanced aliens who decided, you know what would be terrifying? Looking exactly like humanity's collective nightmare after all the clown sightings in 2016. And they were right. Imagine trying to call 911 while a 10-foot clown is turning your neighbors into cotton candy cocoons. That call's going straight to the sure buddy pile. But I just shoot them. Ha! Yeah, okay, because your aim is definitely better than the entire police force who got turned into carnival snacks. These things don't just walk around honking red noses. They've got weapons that turn people into popcorn, shadow puppets that can literally eat you, and let's not forget the whole storing humans in cotton candy to drink their blood thing they like to do. But sure, you and your airsoft gun collection are totally ready for that. The worst part, everything they do is designed to mock you while they kill you. Imagine your last moments being scored by circus music while a clown makes balloon animals out of your intestines. That's not just death, that's death with a side of emotional damage. And before you type, I'm not afraid of clowns, cool story. But these things can track you through walls, survive multiple gunshots, and their circus tent is actually a spaceship. Your I watched it without flinching badge isn't gonna help when they're using your spine as a party streamer. Oh, and those acid pies, they're not just for show. One hit and you're literally becoming part of the circus. You're gonna be looking like the elephant's poop on the floor because you'll be melted. But hey, at least you'll die knowing you contributed to the galaxy's weirdest cooking show. But if you think alien clowns are bad, wait until you see what happens when your high school bully decides to reconnect with you, because the gift is about to make you realize that sometimes the scariest monster is just a guy with a really good set of planning skills. Meet Gordo, the guy that makes your random Facebook friend request looks completely harmless. I just block him. Yeah, okay, buddy. This isn't your standard social media stalker that you can just ghost. Gordo's the type of guy who turns basic politeness into psychological warfare. He shows up with presents, acts super nice, and somehow makes you feel like the weird one for being uncomfortable. It's like having a serial killer join an HOA board. You know something's wrong, but you can't prove it. But here's the real nightmare fuel. Gordo doesn't need supernatural powers or fancy weapons. He just needs to know where you live and have enough patience to slowly drive you insane. While you're busy planning how you'd fight off zombies or outrun monsters from these other movies we're going to talk about, this guy's already figured out your work schedule, your relationship issues, and probably your Amazon password. Think about it. How many weird acquaintances have you been polite to just because you didn't want to seem rude? Gordo weaponizes that exact social awkwardness. He's basically turning the whole stereotype of being a Canadian into a horror movie. And no, your I took a self-defense class once badge isn't gonna help when the threat is just a guy who remembers every embarrassing thing you did in high school. But the scariest part, he doesn't just want to kill you. He wants to destroy your entire life, one uncomfortably long eye contact at a time. And he also wants to swap your baby with his own. While you're out here planning your zombie apocalypse survival kit, Gordo's out here playing 4D chess with your sanity. And trust me, your I've seen every episode of Criminal Minds expertise isn't gonna help when he's already 3 steps ahead of your true crime podcast theories. But if you think a creepy stalker is bad, wait until you see what happens when someone proves that monsters are real. Because Digging Up the Marrow is honestly one of my favorite movies that I watched last year, but it's also about to make you realize that maybe those weird shadows in your room aren't just your imagination after all. Digging Up the Marrow takes your childhood fear of monsters under the bed and says, actually, they're everywhere, and they've been watching you this whole time. Sweet dreams. I just set up security cameras. Yeah, because that worked so well for the actual film crew who, you know, literally did this and documented these monsters killing them. These aren't your standard jump out and say boo monsters. These things have been living right next to us in their own underground world, probably judging all of us this entire time. I can't even imagine to think about what they think about us in the last 10 years. Last 10 years have been crazy. A whole other race of monsters underground. They're probably thinking we look scary. Let's break down why your Monster Hunter gameplay experience isn't going to help here. First off, these creatures are basically playing hide and seek on nightmare mode. They've got their own entire ecosystem right under our feet, complete with different species that all share one common trait. They think humans look absolutely delicious. I mean, have you seen myself? It's like a whole civilization of things that evolved specifically to give you a therapy bill. And before you start typing, I'm not afraid of monsters, these are not the ones from Monsters Inc. or in your childhood closet. These things look like someone gave Stephen King an energy drink and a little bit of acid and said, go crazy, buddy. We're talking about creatures that deliberately avoid looking anything like humans because they think we're ugly. Imagine being so terrifying that you're the one that's having body image issues. The worst part though, most people can't even see them. That's right, you could be standing next to one right now and you wouldn't even know until it decides to ruin your whole day. Your I watched all of Supernatural badge isn't gonna help when the monster's been watching you practice your tough guy speech in the mirror for the last 3 weeks straight. But if you think invisible monsters are bad, wait until you see what happens when the air itself tries to kill you, because the mist is about to make your foggy morning commute look like a pleasant spring day. The mist takes your local supermarket and turns it into nature's worst episode of Survivor, except instead of voting people off the island, you're dealing with interdimensional monsters that make your produce section look like a buffet. I just drive away. How many times do we gotta do this, old man? You can barely navigate your car through regular fog without using Google Maps. This isn't your standard weather phenomena. It's the kind of mist that comes with the complimentary tentacles and things that look like someone gave steroids to every single thing that lives in Australia. But here's the real kicker. You're not just fighting monsters. You're fighting Karens from accounting who decided that the apocalypse is the perfect time to start a cult. While you're trying to figure out how to defend against pterodactyl-sized moths, half the store is already planning human sacrifices by aisle 4. Turns out when the world ends, some people skip straight to, maybe if we throw a teenager into the mist, it'll go away. God damn, if we ever have an apocalypse and someone starts deciding to sacrifice children, I'm gonna lose it. And let's talk about these creatures. We've got spiders big enough to make Australians say, yeah, nah, mate. Tentacles that can make an anime blush, and flying things that make birds look cuddly. Your bug spray and that pocket knife you bought from the gas station, that's like bringing a pool noodle to a tank fight. But the absolute worst part, the longer you stay alive, the more you realize that these aren't even the scariest things in the store. The real horror is watching Karen's book club transform into a doomsday cult faster than you can say extreme couponing. While you're busy planning off how to fight the monsters, Bill from Produce is organizing a riot because someone took the last pack of AA batteries. Bill, it wasn't me. I swear to God, my RC remote control car had them when I bought it. Why would I take the batteries? Don't tell Bill. But you know, if you think murderous mist monsters are bad, wait until you see what happens when reality itself decides to quit its job. Because In the Mouth of Madness is about to make you question whether you're actually watching this video or this video is watching you. In the Mouth of Madness is what happens when a horror writer decides to speedrun the apocalypse through their Goodreads page. That sounds crazy, but hear me out. Imagine Stephen King, but instead of Maine, he's writing about the end of literally everything. Just don't read the books or I can't even read. Oh, you think you're so clever with your I'll just avoid the cursed object strategy. I hate to break it to you, but while you're busy patting yourself on the back, reality itself is having a mental breakdown. This isn't your standard creepy book that makes you see things situation. These books are literally rewriting existence faster than George R.R. Martin misses deadlines for putting out good Game of Thrones scripts. Let's break down why your big brain energy won't save you here. First off, you don't even need to read the books to get affected. The stories are already out there, changing the world, turning your neighbors into tentacled nightmares while they're busy posting about their CrossFit gains. Your I watched Inception twice and understood it badge isn't gonna help when your dog starts speaking in Latin and growing extra eyes. And before you say, I'll just stay rational, I wouldn't go crazy, buddy. Rationality left the chat about the same time those bicycle riding children started eating people. This isn't about keeping your cool. This is about watching reality get a software update you didn't ask for. It's like if existence itself got hacked and the hacker really had a strong fetish for Lovecraftian horror. But the absolute worst part, you can't even trust your own mind anymore. Think you're safe because you're smart? Cool story. Tell that to your new tentacle arms. Do not even start commenting what you would do with tentacle arms. I know there's some weirdos in the comments. I don't want to hear it. Think you can outsmart cosmic horror? That's adorable. The old ones appreciate your confidence while they're turning your local Walmart into a portal to dimensions that shouldn't exist. But if you think reality bending cosmic horror is bad, wait until you see what happens when a bunch of Swedish hippies decide to spice up their summer festival, because Midsommer is about to make your worst family reunion look like a day at Disney. Midsommer proves that the scariest things isn't monsters or demons. It's Swedish people. Literally, this movie is like Coachella decided to go full murder, but with better flower arrangements. I just leave. Right, because you're so good at leaving uncomfortable situations. You can't even tell your hairstylist you hate the cut. You're definitely not escaping a commune full of people who've turned passive-aggressive manipulation into its own Olympic sport. These folks make your mom's guilt trips look amateur, and that's saying something. Here's why your street smarts won't save you here. First off, they've already drugged you before you even realized the flower crown was optional. While you're busy thinking, wow, these clowns look real friendly today, they're picking out which decorative bear costume you'll look best in. And not for Instagram. For the finale, you definitely don't want to be part of. Think you can spot the red flags? Cute. They've been doing this for centuries while looking like they stepped out of a Free People catalog. By the time you realize the weird paintings in your room are actually a step-by-step preview of your doom, you're already too busy trying to figure out why the trees are breathing to run away. What does that even mean? I don't know. You're the one on acid, not me. The absolute worst part though, they don't even need to chase you. They'll just stand there, smiling, waiting for their mushroom tea and trauma-induced emotional manipulation to do all the work. While you're having an existential crisis about whether grass has feelings, they're calmly discussing which ceremonial outfit matches your skin tone, which they're gonna need access to later, by the way. So I hope you exfoliate. So you think you could survive in these horror movies? Let me know down in the comments exactly how you would do it, and like this video and subscribe with post notifications, and then click this playlist right here to watch all of my other horror movies you wouldn't survive videos.